Happy Thursday! I hope you guys are enjoying your week. It's been like pretty nice. I looked at the forecast and it like looked like it might rain this weekend, which is like I've been at my job for a little bit now and I'm like finally like starting to settle in. I got like I like went on Amazon and I just like went on a shopping spree. Ugh. I don't know. I don't know if it's like me and my speech impediment or if it's just like people like gotta like alter this a little bit. But so I don't know. I really don't know. But I got like pink safety glasses, pink safety earplugs, pink gloves, pink mask, like so like I'm just like covering myself because I want to feel pretty and pink, I guess. I was like working and there was something I was like, you look like Barbie. And I'm just like, that wasn't what I was going for, but I'm taking that as a compliment. So, but so, I don't know who's doing it, but I'm going under like a different because I don't have a union anymore, so I can't call it a union. But I'm going under a different like energy. So I don't know if it's it's changing, and so like my like character on like in like TV and stuff, and is changing, and then like how the program is changing, and there was like a period of the TV when like it was like bad and like I don't even like you just couldn't watch it just because it was bad. But it's somebody else is like running it, but they also like is like running. So I would call it a different contract because I don't know I don't know if Marvin Windows is doing it or not, and they're doing a pretty good job like in the last week if it is to keep me out of Marvin Windows when I'm not punched in, which is incredible because like I don't like it's just a factory, and so like I don't like so I'm grateful for that. So like I can forget that I work there when I'm off the clock because that's the point of having a job is so on your days off or your time off you can enjoy your life. And so if it is Marvin Windows, I don't know if it is. They're doing a wonderful job at doing that. But so I would just say I'm going on a different contract, or a different energy because like I know the boom boom boom, the police dealt with that, and they fixed that for me. So like that would be like a contract too, like it's not that piece of paper contract. It's like a noise complaint contract. Like once the noise come back, you behave a certain way. It's just that's just. And if you don't behave a certain way, then you just let that noise get louder, and then you probably will get a headache just because it gets so intense, And so they are like non-written contracts, But the one that I'm on is something else, because we have different contracts that most of the time don't have any connection to one another, and so and you get to choose on like what decisions you want to make in the future. And so, but the girl, the person, my character on TV, that I really like, I guess I did like, get to choose, kind of thing like that. It's kind of like you sit down and you like, it's kind of like, playing, a video game, but they do most of the talking, but then sometimes you can pick on what you want to say, but sometimes, most of the time you don't, kind of thing like that. And so right now I don't get to choose anything, I think they just kind of like go through my head, and then they put it on the TV. But then they also try to play it out, and I don't like that. That's like really intense yellow energy, and I'm just like, I don't like orange energy, and I'm just like too much of like living in the middle, in between, like let's like we have one life, like let's just like live this one life, kind of thing like that. But my character before had like really dark brown hair, straight with black eyes, and I thought that was perfect for me because of who I felt like I was in the inside, you know. And now they're trying to like change it her to like this like brown hair girl with like really like layers and like having hazel eyes, and I'm just like, it's not me. You know, like I want my black eye gal with like that skinny black eye. You know, she's really pretty, she like dresses up really nice and stuff, and she's like, you know, middle class, you know, and she is, but she has dark brown hair and like black eyes, you know, and but I felt like that really represent who I was in the TV, you know. And so, but they want to change it, and I'm just like, I don't know if I really like that, you know. And so yesterday, like the last 2 nights, I've been getting home from the gym, and and it's dark, you know, and so I close like the garage door, but when I like close the garage door, I feel like I have like something that's like hiding me in my car, you know, that wants to like come out and like attack me, and it gets scary, you know, like I'm like scared, you know. But I like blow it off because it feels really supernatural, and you can't do anything about it too, you know, even if, you know, and so you just kind of like just ignore it or embrace it, or, you know, stuff like that. And so last night I did that, you know, and I put down my stuff, you know, to grab the door, and I felt like this like wind behind me, and I'm just like, ooh, one spirits. And then the next thing I know, there was a car parking behind another car in my parking lot, and the guy was there, and I'm just like, whoa, these things are coming to life, you know. And then he like went up and met up with like one of my neighbors, and but he seemed really nice and stuff like that, but I'm happy that I was awake. I wasn't like on like sleepwalking mind control, because I feel like things could go pretty rough, you know. And he was talking to the neighbor that did, you know, sexually touched me, you know, and he did like apologize and stuff like that. But so I you know, like, so I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if he has those types of, you know, traits too, you know. So I'm like appreciative of that, you know, because he's really like from a distance he came off scary, and he looks scary when you get close to him, but he has like a really like sweet vibe to him, you know. And so I don't know if he has like a certain type of glamour on him, but I didn't stand around and talk. I'm just like, this is like a inside out red flag kind of thing like that. And so I went upstairs, but I feel like it has something to do with my like the people who are like running like, because it's not real contract, you know, people just say, you know, I feel like people really need to understand how this ran, you know. So it's not like a real contract, but I think it's like people who like running the fact that I'm angry about my personality, you know, in life. And so when I was like walking up, because I saw him, you know, and then they walked up to the apartment, and I like wasn't sure if it was like really him, you know, who did it, you know, because I saw him, and I'm just like, ooh, scary. And so like I like puffed up like my shoulders, you know, and I'm just like, and like changed my like vibe of like, you know, Sweetums into like, I'm gonna like beat you up if you touch me kind of thing like that. And like it changed and stuff like that. But and maybe that's why he came off sweet, you know, because maybe we were just like dealing with each other's like vibes. And so, but as soon as I like pushed back my shoulders, and I'm just like walking with like my fists, because like I'm ready to fight, you know, kind of thing like that. Everything changed, like my environment around me changed, and it got a lot more softer and sweeter. But like one like I couldn't imagine if I didn't do that, you know. That would be like like what I just got, like, you know, sexually assaulted on my like steps of my like apartment complex, or like would they just like excuse it, like so like my thing is like I'm like torn because like having a weak backbone and walking around acting like tough is a real thing, and like people need to understand like even like the people who act tough, they're not always tough. Like you can have a really extremely weak backbone, like, and it's like it's not a metaphor, but it's like having a real weak backbone is like having a weak spine. Is like when you actually need to go to the chiropractor because your back is out of the line because the muscles are weak, you know. And the thing is, even if you strengthen your muscles, if you don't get your back adjusted, you're gonna have body issues, you know. You're gonna have like aches and pains. You like there's gonna be a lot of things that's wrong, you know, if you don't go in and get your back adjusted and then strengthen your back and, you know, unfollow. Because I used to go into a chiropractor, and the one thing they also suggest is to go and get massages on top of it. So if you don't like follow the correct steps, you know, to strengthen your back, you know, it will you will have complications in the future, and medications and seeing a doctor and getting shots and stuff isn't going to help you fix that. You know, you need to go and see a chiropractor, you know, because it's not, you know, it's not a medication problem, it's a alignment problem, you know. But also having a weak backbone, you know, in a non-real sense is like you don't know how to stand up for yourself. You don't know how to speak up when or like you don't know like if you're, you know, or another one is like you don't know how to keep a job. You know, that's another like thing of having a weak backbone. It is like you don't know how to keep a job, you know. Or, you know, another one is you don't know how to stand up for yourself. You don't know how to defend yourself. You don't know how to speak up. You don't know how to win in arguments. That's, you know, that's another one. Having a weak backbone, there's a lot of like meanings to that, you know. But so being like tough and strong, you know, and knowing how to speak up for yourself and knowing how to defend yourself, and then still get, you know, defeated, you know, that would be considered a backbone, like a weak backbone, you know. It's some people call it a backwards weak backbone, you know, just to explain, like to say it quicker, you know, so they don't need to like sit there and explain things, but they might say reverse weak backbone. But it's still a weak backbone, you know. So it just, because now I feel like I have a reverse weak backbone, you know. I had a weak backbone, you know, and like I like, but now I have a backwards weak backbone. So like my thing is I'm struggling because I don't want to walk around all like you know, because like there's nothing like, how do you fix that? You know, you're already too tough to strengthen your backbone. So it's just thoughts. So I didn't, and I got away, and everything's all good, you know, and like I'm like still like doing good in life, and I hope you guys are doing good in life. You know, I'm still selling candles. Let me know if you guys need any. I would love to help. So toodaloo and enjoy your Thursday.